Israel continues bombing southern Gaza despite announcing its withdrawal. Hundreds gathered in Mazatlan, Mexico to watch the total solar eclipse, a phenomenon visible in Mexico, Canada, and the USA. Czech Republic to invest 6 billion euros in 4 new nuclear reactors. The Volt Party is setting up a symbolic transnational list ahead of the EU elections to create a political stir.
The European-backed Operation Ass Spies has so far repelled 11 Houthi attacks and escorted dozens of ships in the Red Sea.
Hundreds of people gathered in Mazatlan, Mexico to watch the total solar eclipse. It was about 4 minutes before the moon completely covered the sun. It was 2 p.m. local time. A phenomenon visible in Mexico, Canada, and the USA, people across the world have been following the celestial spectacle. The eclipse is a unique opportunity for scientists. NASA is using the brief blocking out of the sun to carry out studies into the phenomenon's effects on the Earth's ionosphere and possible disruptions to telecommunications. The next total eclipse will be on August 12, 2026, and will cover large areas of the Northern Hemisphere. Next year, on the 29th of March, Europe will have the chance to see a partial solar eclipse. Israel continues bombing southern Gaza despite announcing its withdrawal. A few hours afterwards, it bombed Rafah and the Nusayrat refugee camp, leaving several Palestinians dead. Meanwhile, efforts continue in Egypt to achieve a ceasefire before the end of Ramadan. Israel claims there has been progress, which Hamas denies. Benjamin Netanyahu demanded the release of Israeli hostages to reach an agreement. Relatives of the hostages have been received by the Pope in the Vatican. They have also met with the Italian authorities and the country's Jewish communities. In The Hague, Nicaragua has called on the United Nations top court to halt German military and other aid to Israel, arguing that Berlin's support was enabling acts of genocide.
The victory of the Social Democrat Peter Pellegrini in Slovakia's presidential election has largely reinforced the ruling party led by Robert Fico. Fico's party is widely considered Eurosceptic and supporting of Russian narratives.
The election result means that both the government and the president will be from the same political spectrum. Peter Pellegrini, he framed his campaign as if he is elected, there will be a calm and quiet situation for the government, which obviously will be following the elections and following the fact that Peter Pellegrini is one of the coalition leaders, his party is the key coalition player, and now he'll be the coalition president sitting in the presidential office and very probably not harming the government or not putting any obstacles in front of the government's agenda.
The populist government of Robert Fico took office last October on a campaign of anti-EU and migration rhetoric. Pellegrini defeated a pro-Western diplomat, Ivan Korczak, who promised stronger ties with the EU partners. He also campaigned to reclaim Slovakia's sovereignty. Pellegrini accused his opponent of wanting to drag Slovakia into war by supporting Kyiv. According to experts, he has yet to define a clear stance on several issues.
Also during his last night's speech, he still expressed himself as being committed pro-European, committed pro-NATO, but still said that we need to protect the Slovakian interests. So still playing this two-side or two-face role. So we'll see how he's gonna turn up once he's the president.
Pellegrini won the vote with 53% to become Slovakia's president.
Transnational lists in the European Union are a long-held dream that have not turned into reality. Citizens of the 27 member countries will choose only among their country's candidates, as it has always been in the upcoming June European elections. But some parties would like to change this rule.
I think many citizens are actually quite excited by the idea, but it has been blocked by national politicians who were not excited by the idea that citizens could actually themselves choose from European candidates. But I'm sure it's the future. It will come. If it's not in 2024, then 2029.
In 2022, the European Parliament approved to establish a transnational college, electing a group of 28 MEPs of different nationalities based on the votes of all European citizens. But EU governments did not accept the push. Now, the Volt Party, which presents the same electoral program in 16 different countries, is setting up a symbolic transnational list.
This list that we're forming is not really going to be able to run. However, for us, it was very important to put it out as a symbol of the kind of Europe we want to see. And in fact, you will notice that in our list, we also foresee candidates from Albania, which is not a member state, but it's a candidate to become.
Transnational lists are seen as a way to create a political debate and competition at a European level instead of 27 different ones. For this reason, they face strong opposition from nationalist and sovereignist parties, which are on the rise in the European elections as popularity for the far right surges.
4 young men have been charged over the murder of a 15-year-old boy in France, in a case that has shocked the nation and heightened concerns about violence in schools. The victim, named only as Sam Shedin by prosecutors, was attacked and beaten up as he left school in the town of Viry-Châtillon near Paris on Thursday. He died in hospital on Friday due to his injuries. The incident is said to be linked to a dispute over what prosecutors have described as correspondence of a sexual nature with the sister of one of the accused. 2 of the 4 men have been remanded in custody, while 2 other minors are being held in pre-trial detention.
The Czech Republic has announced a new plan to abandon its dependence on carbon energy. The country will invest 6 billion euros in 4 new nuclear reactors. The investment marks one of the biggest since the fall of the socialist system almost 35 years ago. The Czech government is now looking for the best deal and will conclude the transition in June 2024. The Czech Republic is a traditional carbon energy exporter, with the country now looking towards nuclear.
Buď ta cena, která nabídnou ty soutěžící, bude taková, která umožní dlouhodobě stabilní, nízké ceny energie jak pro občany, tak pro rozvoj energetiky a průmyslu, tak určitě budoucnost je v obou 2 těchto jaderných elektrárnách navýšit tento výkon a zkombinovat to s obnovitelnými zdroji.
According to an exclusive Ipsos Euronews poll, the Czech people do not consider climate change a high priority. 34% believe climate change is a priority, while 21% is against it.
Eleven attacks were repelled and 16 ships escorted in the Red Sea by the vessels involved in Operation Aspides. This is the first assessment of the EU mission that was launched 2 months ago to protect trade in the Suez Canal. Since the Israel-Hamas war started, Houthi rebels have launched 80 attacks on commercial ships in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, some of them with casualties. The Iranian-backed rebel group considers Israel an enemy, and the attacks were in response to the war. Because of the attacks, merchandise ships need 10 to 14 more days of travel to reach Europe, doubling costs.
The Houthis clearly position themselves, it's not a secret, as defenders of the Palestinian cause. And this certainly has given them increased popularity in the wide Muslim world. From our side, we just want to ensure freedom and security of navigation. And we hope that we could control the situation and this will not expand to a wider geographical zone.
13% of world trade passes through the Red Sea. Because of the attacks, today only half of the 70 ships are now crossing the Suez Canal. 4 EU member states have warships in the area and 19 are contributing to the operation. As of the moment, European ships have shot down 9 unmanned aerial vehicles, 1 unmanned surface vessel and 4 ballistic missiles. The mandate of ASPIDES is defensive, protecting ships under attack and accompanying vessels.
We are not attacking them, though we could, let's say, but we have a different mandate. So if you see it on the military perspective, what we are doing is the worst case, let's say. It's the more difficult part. We have to wait all the time, being shot at. So you have to bear that in mind. So we are patient and we are stick to our mandate.
After almost 2 months, the commander said that there is now better coordination with other missions in the area, such as the mainly American Operation Prosperity Guardian.